Yep.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of Yomo. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So today we are on Reflection 317 and something about arbitrary stupid goal.
It is an arbitrary stupid goal. The book is called Arbitrary Stupid Goal by the author. I think it's Tamara, or Tamara.
Tamara.
I
Mostly
think
I hear
I think it's
Tamara.
Tamara. I
Tamara.
think it's Tamara.
Tamara.
It was whatever, something like that. Shopshin is her last name. And this book is about. Well, you know what? I'll describe the book. I described the book in the reflection, so I'm not even going to tell you what the book's about. But the reflection
I
title,
probably can guess what the book's about.
kind of, it's not really about an arbitrary stupid goal. That's the
Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong. Never mind.
it's so I'll explain in a second. So the reflection title for this one is New Year's resolutions, right?
Really? Isn't it
Yeah.
supposed to be the other way?
You mean for the arbitrary stupid goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll get there. I'll get there. All right. So there's a reason why this particular title. So I actually read this book. I was writing the reflection of this particular reflection on January 2nd, 2023. So right now it's August, or I mean October. What is it?
18,
2018.
20,
It's October 18th. Oh, what am I talking about? Why do I? My wife's birthday is tonight. Like, by the way, that's totally fine.
Uh-oh.
I cooked her dinner, took care of Luca. She got a massage. We're going out to like a nice dinner on Saturday as well. So
Okay.
because it's in the middle of the week, right? So it's no big deal. Luca's asleep.
It
She's
would
fine.
be bad to record this on video and say, hey, I don't know what today is.
Yeah. No, that's what I just said. What am I talking about? Like, I know what day is today. So it's October
Oops.
18th, 2023. I wrote this reflection on January 2nd of 2023. I had just gotten back from New York City. We went there for New Year's Eve in New York City, right? To first time I'd ever done that. One of my really good friends and a group of our friends, one of our really good friends is turning 40, and she wanted to her birthday is on January
New Year?
2nd.
Oh, second.
It's on yeah, the second. So she was like, I want to celebrate my 40th birthday, New Year's Eve. Like, I want to go to New York City, and so us and a group of friends all went out there to celebrate with her and had a great time. I'd never been to New York City for New Year's Eve. Obviously, it's like famous, place, right? For New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So I was writing this reflection on January 2nd, 2023, because I finished this book on January 2nd, 2023, on their flight back home from New York. I started it actually as we were landing, and on like a Thursday. I think New Year's Eve was a Saturday last year. I think so. So this would have been on like a Sunday flying back. Anyway, it only took me like 2 or 3 days to finish this book, right? To start this book and finish this book. It was a really short book. So I actually finished my other book that I was reading that we just did the reflection for yesterday, which can't even remember off the top of my head. What was that? What was yesterday's reflection?
The Godfather.
The Godfather. I just finished The Godfather on the flight to New York City, and I was like halfway through the flight. Or sorry, I knew I was going to finish right before the flight, so I Googled. I just finished 2 long books in a row, and I was like, sometimes when I was like, yeah, I need a little shorter book, something that's like something easy to digest, sounds funny, sounds interesting, whatever. So I Googled, the top 10 the top nonfiction books under like 6 hours or something like that on Audible or whatever. And this was one of the books that came up, and by title alone, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I hit buy right before I got on the flight. I downloaded it, and I finished the Godfather, and then fired this thing up with about 30 minutes left to go on the flight. It's not that long of a flight. Landed in New York City. And then we had our long weekend that we were there, right? Mm-hmm. So as you know, I run every day and whatever. It's one of my things that I like to do with Amelia and I. It's part of my own living my values and living for two, and all the good stuff that we talk about in this whole journey. So I'm out running in New York City on New Year's Eve, and I'm running through. We were staying in this area called the Meatpacking District. Have you ever been to New York City before?
No, never been.
So like they have like all these little, like in Manhattan, they have like all these little like sub neighborhoods, right? And one of the neighborhood that we were staying in our hotel in was it's called the Meatpacking District, which is it's a cool little area. But it's pretty close to Greenwich Village. I'm sure you've probably heard of Greenwich Village before, right? Like just in
Nope.
general. I think it's like a little it's kind of like it's about as neighborhoody as you can get in Manhattan, because Manhattan is just basically filled with skyscrapers from all as long as the eye can see. It's pretty wild how many skyscrapers are in Manhattan. But Greenwich Village is kind of like about as neighborhoody as you could possibly get in New York City. If you think of like a little bit more of a smaller scale sky rises, and more like only maybe 4 or 5 story brownstones and like apartments, like it's a little bit more neighborhoody. So Meatpacking District butts right up to that, and I'm out on a jog, and as I'm listening to this book, I had no idea what this book was about. It's actually a fucking love story for New York City, back in in Greenwich Village. So her family is Tamra Shopshin. Actually, this book's about her family's little like greasy spoon restaurant that was started in like the 70s in Greenwich Village, back when it was still like a really hippie bohemian small, like kind of like interesting, unique, eclectic neighborhood. And it was this place that was called the Store, that she called it, but it was called Shopshins. It was a like a little diner. It was like a little neighborhood diner that everybody knew and loved, and it was a bit of a general store as well. And her dad, Kenny Shopshin, was the proprietor of it, the main proprietor of it. And he was like a super eclectic, weird guy. That he became pretty famous because of, I don't know, they did some really weird things at Shopshins. Like, they had some like really weird traditions, and it was like one of those like really unique places that people would like really enjoyed going to, because it was so unique, and they had just really unique vibe. So it became kind of famous for like celebrities to go like stop in there, and there's a lot of celebrities that live in like the Greenwich Village area. And anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. So this book is about Shopshins and her family, and her life, remembering back from like in the 1970s through today of growing up in Greenwich Village, and basically like a love story of New York City and Greenwich Village. And I'm literally listening to this book as I'm jogging through Greenwich Village, and I was like, oh, come on. Like, I was like, this is, I was like, come on, universe. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I just thought it was really funny. This is probably one of the most unique books that I ever read, because of just like setting, of out doing things that Amelia and I do every single day. We're out jogging.
Did you ever went to look for Shopshin, the store?
It closed.
Oh.
So it's no longer open. Because her dad died. I think after her dad died, I think they closed the store. I ended up reading more about it. I'm pretty sure it happened after her dad died that they closed the store. Anyway, so this book's a bit of a memoir of her life, and Shopshins, and some other just things that she wanted to highlight. It's kind of a weird little book, to be honest with you. It's pretty bizarre. So how does this reflection, so how does this all relate to the reflection of New Year's resolutions, right? So it's New Year's Eve. I'm out running, this is interesting, yada yada yada, and finally come across at the end of it, what the title is that intrigued me all along. The reason why I even bought this thing, the arbitrary stupid goal, is actually the smallest little portion of it. It was just like a random little blurb that she mentioned at the end of the book. That was something her dad used to always say. And he would according to him, a arbitrary stupid goal is something that isn't too important but helps you to live in the moment and gives you a driving force in life. And I heard that, and I was like, I read it again, and I was like, an arbitrary stupid goal, something that isn't too important but helps you to live in the moment and gives you a driving force in life. And I was like, made me start to think a little bit about Yomel and everything that I do every single day, and got me thinking about my arbitrary stupid goals, right? And then it got me thinking about my life before Amelia and after Amelia. So that's where the reflection goes from here, right? So I think I've told you this before, but before Amelia was born, like I used to really think goals mattered a lot, right? I would, so much so that in between Christmas and New Year's, for the previous at least 4 or 5 years before Amelia was born. Like I would carve out an entire day to go sit down, and I would rate myself on like 9 different dimensions of my life. I would give myself a score, and I would say, where do I want to be? Where am I at? Like, and then I need to, put an action plan together of where I wanted to go for the next year. And I would, look at, like, envision my life 5, 10, 20 years out, like in each one of those different scenarios, and write down like my perfect day, where I want to be, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And then try to set a plan for the next year as to like how I'm going to go down that route. Right. I had read that in a book somewhere one time, and I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, hey, I'll try that. And I tried it for like 4 or 5 years. And the funny thing is like, first off, what a nerdy ass thing to do, number one. But number two, the funny thing is, as soon as I would do this exercise, like I don't remember ever looking back at it once the entire rest of the year. It was pretty much a pointless exercise. And not only that, like, who the hell knows where they're going to be in 20 years anyway? Like, I mean, like what a dumb, like, upon reflection now, looking back on it, it's like, what a dumb exercise. And when we set these goals going forward that are so specific and so, so intense, really, and like, trying to like manifest something that you have no control over, right? And that was me before my daughter, right? And before this whole journey. Well, now, upon further reflection, and learning through this whole entire journey, we were out having drinks with friends on New Year's Eve before we went out to like our, kind of big New Year's Eve, bash. We were just having like a couple cocktails or whatever, like, around like 5 o'clock that night or something. And one of my good friends, Amanda, Amanda, one of my good friends, Amanda, she was out there with us, and she was like, hey, so do you have any New Year's resolutions this year? And I was like, I go, I don't want to be like stupid about it, but here's my answer, and it's probably the same answer I'll have for the rest of my days. I was like, I really only have one goal these days, and that's to perform as many actions as I possibly can that align to my values that I hold so dear every single day. I get one opportunity each day to try to do as much as I can that aligns to my values, which is also aligns to my purpose. It has a lot to do with my daughter. It has a lot to do with living for two, plus just trying to, live in an enjoyable life and live in the moment. And it just made me start to think, as I was writing this reflection the next day, finish this book, we're on a get back home in Indianapolis, and I'm thinking, what's my arbitrary stupid goal? What's my as Kenny Shopshin would say, goal in life that isn't too important, but helps you to live in the moment, but gives you a driving force in life. And that's it. That is my arbitrary stupid goal, is to try to do every single day as much as I can that aligns to my values. It's stupid. It's arbitrary. But it gives me a driving force every single day that helps me to enjoy the day, and then also helps me to keep pushing forward, every single day for the rest of my life. I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't really care. But I think this dude might be onto something, because I do really think a nice arbitrary stupid goal is something that everybody should have, yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts. That was it. Yeah.
Well, I think it's not arbitrary, and it's not stupid.
I mean, it is arbitrary. It's definitely arbitrary. Like, what
No,
does
it's
that
not
even
arbitrary.
mean?
It's not
I don't know.
arbitrary. I see. I don't think it's arbitrary, and I don't think it's stupid. But I wouldn't call it a goal. For me, I think this is what I'm saying is, we talking about having a past,
Right,
a present, and a future, right?
right.
The past is gone already. It's not very helpful to dwell on the past. Learn from it, move on quickly. The future is not here, so we can't really put too much emphasis on the future. So the only thing we have is today. So today is what you and I would call the marshmallow test. Do you want the marshmallow today?
Right.
Do you want to eat it today? What do you want to do today? Right?
Right.
To me, this is what you just say. Hey, my only goal right now is to do as much of the thing that aligns with your core value. To me, if you say that to other people, it sounds like a scapegoat answer to a New Year resolution.
Right.
But to us, it is the core essential of what we do here. It's not a goal. It's who are you, and what does that person aligned with? If you're a beaver, are you building dams right now? I mean, what would you rather do? Like, I'm asking you here, Chris, go play pickleball tonight, or go sit in a QBR meeting. So to me, it's not
not
it's,
even a
it's
question.
not it's not an arbitrary. It's not
Right.
stupid, right? Because
Right.
saying, hey, well, what do I want? It's not about a goal, right? You say, hey, it's not a goal. It's I want to do something, whatever. To me, is who are you? Because the thing is, like you say, you can't really predict your future, but because of who we are, I think you will be your best self if you are able to be most of yourself today.
Yeah.
You think about what I just said, because the thing is, if you say, well, I have this goal to be this other person. Let's say I want to become Elon Musk or become Lance Armstrong or Neil Armstrong or whoever you want to become,
Right.
right? I have that goal and I'm doing these
Got this
things.
vision, you know.
This
I have this
vision to
vision.
become
Right.
that. When
Right.
you got, even if you got there, right, and it will be hard for you to get because you don't have the faculties to like that he does
Right.
to get to where he was, right? Like Steve Jobs or whatever. You have to struggle to even get there, and when you get there, you don't want it
Right.
because it's not
It
what
sucks.
you it's not who you are. It's like, hey,
Right.
I'm a fucking beaver, and I got to the desert. Now I'm the fucking sultan of the the Sahara Desert, right?
Right.
Like the fucking beaver sultan. It's like I don't want it. I just want to go and build my dams and swim in the river because my
Right.
pelt is actually anti-heat, right? Because I don't like heat. I need to be in the water.
It's in
So I'm
water.
saying,
Yeah. Right.
if you spend most of your time being who you're supposed to be, the future is going to be optimal for you. So
Yeah.
for me, is you. I mean, I really agree with what you say. Hey, you want to do as much of what of what you can that aligns with your core value. To me, it's the same thing as okay, what do you want to do today? As
Right.
per your perspective, as per your affinity to the activities. Like
Right.
I like play pickleball, right? It's a nice day. I want to play pickleball rather than going and write text codes or
Right.
write
Right.
instruction manuals. And these
Yep.
are things that I don't like. That's why I'm making an example. But other people might like it, and that could be their preferred choice of activities.
Right. Yep.
Right.
I mean,
And so
it
to
makes
me,
them.
it's not arbitrary because you have you chose that. You chose the activity because like I said, you went to play pickleball. Is it arbitrary?
I mean, what? No, it's not. But
It's
there's no
not
goal.
because exactly. It's
There's
not.
no goal. Like here's the thing:
That's
is
why.
like
That's why I say it's not arbitrary. It's not stupid, and it's really
no.
not a goal because it is what you want. It is your desire.
Yes.
It's neither arbitrary or nor stupid. It is your desire of the moment.
So
Because
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
because then to me, a ASG in the concept is a thing that what he said is a thing that what did he say about
gives you a driving, helps you to live in the moment, but it gives you a driving force in life. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. To me, this is desire that will give you that
Right.
forces to live in the moment, and it to me the definition of what I just say for that. I really like the way he explained it, but I don't like the.
You don't like the name?
I don't like the name. I don't like the name because
it's fine. I mean, I liked it just because it made sense to me, like from it connected with me like on a logical level. I was like, oh yeah, well I guess
I mean,
to be fair,
you think about what he just said. He say helps you live in the moment, right?
Right.
And it gives you the driving force in life. That is a powerful statement.
It is, but I think people forget this is where I think this is.
But the thing is,
the second part of this whole
because I think because I'm not liking the word itself because it ties to something we do today that lead us astray from who we're supposed to be.
I agree with you, and I think let's circle back to that in a second. But I think the bigger discussion that I would love to have with you is around society and goal setting. Like, I mean, I swear to you, if you go to any guru and you said, what's the number one thing you need to do? Like, they would be like, well, you need to have a plan. You need to have goals. You need to have a 6-month plan, 30, 60, 90-day plan. Then you need to have a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 20-year plan. And, you need to be, thinking about, like when we talked about with procrastinate on purpose, hey, should I drink this cup of coffee now? Or, you know, should I look at the net present value of money, you know, going forward in 30 years from now? And I noticed that $5 cup of coffee is actually a $55 cup of coffee after I used compound interest and what I could have done with that. You know, it's like, whoa, like that's so much going on. Like what, like I have a goal of being retired by 40 or something like that, you know, like I'm like,
this is what I'm saying is because thing is it's still a valid point to have these metrics, but the thing people
I don't
forget.
think so.
Well, let me give you a story. People forget, right? So imagine I write a book, okay? I write a book. You write a book, right? And you know me, I'm the worst writer, right? I'm the worst writer in history and blah blah blah. You can be a good writer, or you can take whoever you like is the best, like maybe Brew Bryson, for example,
Okay.
as the best writer. I can write more words than him, and I can say, well, I have achieved a better status than Bill Bryson's or Chris Sears. You think about the metric I just gave you. In that scenario, because you and I understand this whole paradigm really, then you can see what I gave you was absurd and silly. Right. But because we don't understand the goal in life, we are so like primitive to understand that we look at these metrics of metrics it doesn't align too much. Mm-hmm. Do you think about it? So it's not like I did. Let's say I write everything grammatically correct. I write everything that is it's understood, but it's not a good book. If it's not a good book, it's the quality or the value of the book, right? Or how it strikes the imagination of a person. So when you look at the goals, I have a 6-month goal, a 10-year goal, a 20-year goal, a 100-year goal, whatever. So these to me are just metrics that's arbitrary that has no, I guess, point of reference to you as far as what you value.
Yeah, no, right? I agree.
So the value. Numbers, so what is the value in a book, right?
Because content, to you, I mean, is the value of the book.
It's the content of the book and how it was orchestrated.
Man, I could read a 41
and how it relates to the person reading it.
Right.
Because you could write I Can't Imagine book, and it's a great book, and they give it to an alien. Even if you understand what you wrote,
right? He's like, I don't care.
It doesn't appeal to him because he said, well, for me, it's not possible.
Right.
I can just flip my fingers and my daughters come alive. So why does this guy have this hard time? The atomic bomb, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So the thing is, there are so many variables in how a person values something. So when everybody, the guru points to the same blueprint of having a goal, and the goal has to blah blah blah, and they say, well, the goal is to say you have to write 10,000 pages, and you have to have a cover, you have to have a binding, and you have to have like an intro, a middle, and end, whatever. So all these, if you think about, these are goals. So if you think about me writing a book, I have the cover, I have 10,000 pages, I have the structure of the story, the beginning, the end, the middle, the end, and the details, and blah blah blah, right? If you think about my book versus your book, if I were to do that exactly, I would achieve the same thing. But why would somebody's book become the New York bestseller and some is not? So is why
that's totally 100% random. Like, I mean, 100%.
Well, it's random, but the thing is, that's my point though. My point though is that when you ask any gurus out there, they give you the same fucking blueprint. So why is that? So the thing is, when you set a goal and you tell people to set a goal, you're given the same blueprint. But I give you a scenario where we already have enough information to understand what I'm describing to you is very silly and absurd.
It's stupid. Like it's very stupid because the only way that this journey finished and was accomplished, it's not finished. The only way that we get to where we're at right now, with you and I talking about 317, me completing 365, and now I'm on, I think I wrote 408 this morning. The only way that we get to this point in time is if I'm thinking every single day. I'm not thinking about, yes, so at one point in time or another, the idea of 365 kind of drove me, but actually it was negative. Like, you know, in all seriousness, that microscopic view lens of getting to 365 at one point in time made this journey less joyful than every single day of just writing, because like I don't feel that pressure anymore when I write in the morning. As a matter of fact, this morning I didn't know that I was going to write the reflection that I wrote this morning, because I thought I was already done. I had this thought still percolating in my head of another thing, and I was like, oh, I'll go write that this morning. You know, it's fine. Like I don't have this, like, you know, before I was writing multiple reflections sometimes just because I was like, well, I just spent 41 hours reading the book Team of Rivals by Abraham Lincoln. I just spent 41 hours, True, like, you know, of my fucking life. And I can only squeeze out maybe a half of a reflection out of this because I didn't really learn much from it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it wasn't something I
learned. According to some metrics, right? That's a fucking like #1 bestseller book in
exactly. Right? Like, I'm supposed to like learn an insane amount from that book, right? And I'm like, no, I really didn't learn that much from it. And not because it wasn't like well written, not because it wasn't well documented, not because the story wasn't an interesting story. It was just, I didn't learn anything out of that book. And I knew it really pretty early on. You know, the same thing happened with the Titan book, John Rockefeller's book, right? You know, that was another like 37-hour book or something that I was like, I kind of was able to eke out like a reflection out of it at the end of it. But like the reason why I'm sharing all this, like this example is,
it's because you agree with me.
It's because I agree with you. But like, I think the point of the only way that like having very specific long-term goals actually fucks you up more than it helps you. It's having these arbitrary. If my goal
because it doesn't align. It doesn't align because that's not how it goes. You don't go in a straight line. You just
doesn't.
Yeah. Right. Like, and so when you think about right, if I were to say, well, I go to all these gurus and all these guru tells me to go A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and all these steps, right? So I can follow the same fucking steps to write a book, right? And I become a successful author. So that's what I'm saying is when you have goal, are you like that author becoming a book, right? When you write a book, right, you follow all the steps, you did all the goals. So your life goal should become like, oh, I've achieved these goals that I've set out and I've become so happy, you know, whatever it is, right? But I'm saying is if I take the same concept and apply to writing a book, right? How many authors have become successful? How many authors have become have written a book that appeals to people? Right. And so the probability is so small. That's why there are a lot of people who write, but only a few names are well known.
Well, I mean, I don't even know that you could even equate good writing to people that are well known, because I mean, shit, you could be you know, I mean, I don't know that Adam Grant's a good writer necessarily. I mean, as a matter of fact, like I think he's a better speaker than he is a writer. But I think he has an interesting. Here's the thing:
but my point is still valid, right? My point is still valid. Is he did everything right? He said, well, in order for a book to be written, these are the steps I have to take, right? And the steps to write a book, it's like hundreds of steps, right?
1,000. You don't write a book to write a book.
And then you go say, well, I'm gonna fucking design my life by saying, oh, what is your 6-month goal? What is your 1 year goal? And your 10th year's goal? It's like you did 3 fucking steps. Compare that to the complexity of life versus complexity of a book, right? That's completely silly and nonsense when you look from that particular lens. Yes. So when you don't understand all the elements, you don't see the silliness of it.
It's telling a story. Like I would say to you, every good book that I've ever read that really stuck in my mind was somebody that I guarantee you, as they were writing it, they were like, I don't want this story to end because I don't know how the story's going to end. Stephen King, when he writes really good books, he doesn't even know what he's doing. He just keeps writing. He probably is like excited to get to the finish because he's like, oh my God, I don't know where this is going to go. Like when Adam Grant is writing a book about, you know, curiosity, like Adam Grant's just exploring curiosity.
Grinding. Whenever you see the end, right, the destination, it's just grinding.
It sucks.
You think about Stephen King, say, well, this is how I want to end it, right? He's like, oh, I gotta get to the end. It's just grinding when you know what it is, and for whatever reason, we are built like that. When you see the ending, it's just grinding. Or when you're trying to reach a certain milestone, it's just grinding. Enjoy the moment, right? The thing that makes you say, well, what do I want to do? Well, I want to eat the cake. I want to eat the marshmallow. I want to play pickleball. I want to enjoy the day. I want to enjoy the weather, whatever it is. That makes you alive. It makes you memorable. That's your memory. Because if you say, well, I have to sacrifice this thing, I go run and talk to True about some whatever, like, why are you doing it? Who put a gun to your head and make you do it?
No one. That's okay. So I think you just said something that was sneakily brilliant. When you're running a marathon, what's the difference between running an ultra marathon and when you're running a marathon?
Marathon is a marathon is you run for the sake of running, and a marathon is you say, well, I have to get to this point.
Kind of. I mean,
you're looking for the end.
Right. They both technically have an end, but there's a thing when you run 26 miles.
It's the perspective, the focus. This is what we're talking about.
Right. This is what I'm saying is like when you're running an ultra marathon, you're like, I got all day to kind of do this, you know, like I either gonna finish it or not. I don't fucking know, right? But then they find themselves like 30 miles in, they're like, oh my God, I just ran a full marathon and I didn't even realize that, you know, like, I mean, this has happened to me many a times whenever I've set out on a run that I'm like, I'm running 10 miles. Like, it's like fucking pulling teeth eventually where I'm like looking at like my phone or like listening to like where I'm at and pacing myself and like blah, 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 blah. You know, and then there's days where I'm just gonna go run, and then I end up running like 15 miles or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit, I just ran 15 miles, you know. And like, I'm not saying this happens all the time. It's when you don't. It's like, why put? You're so right. When you put that goal out there of 26.2 miles, right? When you hit mile marker 18, you're like, fuck, I still got 6 fucking miles left, right? You're like, this is fucking miserable. Like, or you could just say, you know what? Nobody put a gun to my head. If I'm tired right now, I'll just go walk for 10, 15 minutes. And if I'm hurting, like, I just won't keep going. But if I feel okay, then maybe after half an hour and eating a banana and, you know, drinking a Gatorade, I'm going to be like, oh, you know, I feel good enough to go jog again. Right. Like, I mean, there's been days when I've gone on like walks around a city where I look at my phone at the end of the day and you see like what it's tracking you at. And I've walked like 17 miles and I'm like what's the difference between walking 26.2 miles on a day where you're just exploring a city, meandering through the whole thing, if you're like powering through, you're like, I'm walking 17 miles today and I'm going to hit every one of these stops, you know, along the way. And you're like, what's like, did you, I didn't even realize I walked that much, you know what I mean? Then you look back and you're like, holy shit, you know, versus the other one is like, you're right. Like when you set that end point, this is what happened in this Yomo thing. I write about this many a times where I'm like, oh, I'm at mile marker 22.3 today. You know, and I'm fucking stressed, you know, and I'm like, but like, I look back on it now, you said this to me in the moment, you know, you were like, why are you worried about this? Like, who cares?
I keep saying, who put a gun to your head?
And I'm like, I put the gun to my head. I literally put my own gun to my own head. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I was like, this is what I set out at the beginning. It wasn't an arbitrary, stupid goal. It was a specific dumb goal, is what it was. Like there was no veering for me on this. It was like, look, I'm in it. I committed. I'm going. Like, I'm getting there. Like, I don't care. Come hell or high water. Like, I'm gonna read short books just so I can check off another book and get another reflection. I'm gonna go do that. I'm not cutting corners, but like, you know, if I have maybe an extra thought in my head, I'm gonna write an extra reflection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just bend it just a little bit.
It's stupid. It was,
but at the end of the day, it's not fun. No, you're miserable. I mean, even the activity is fun, but it's miserable. Just like, oh, let's go on vacation, right? Something you say, hey, you're supposed to get relaxed and you do whatever you want to do. Versus, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to go and visit, check. It's like, shit, right? Are you working or are you on vacation, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? But then, hey, I have to do that, I have to go there, right? Or you can say, well, I enjoy. I would like to stay a little bit more. I like to go, you know, I like to, you know, spend a little bit more time, more days, whatever, because I like it. If there's a marshmallow here, I want to eat it. Right? Was it? Oh, I'm gonna try a different marshmallow. I can't have this one because, you know, I have to try the other one. It's like you are creating a self-inflicted misery for yourself, and that's what I'm saying is 90% of all our misery comes from our own internal mind. We create. You put your gun on your own head, and I keep trying to get you out of it too. And even then, you say, "No, I still want to."
Yeah.
my head.
Nobody can pull you out. You're right. It's always self-inflicted. It's always, I think actually it's funny the word arbitrary stupid goal, I really like it, honestly. I know you're struggling with it, but I really like it because you know what the worst thing is? It's lighthearted.
I
It's
think
a
what
lighthearted
it
thing.
does, it lessens
It's
the
lighthearted.
impact of the
Right.
word goal. Because the
Yes,
thing, the
exactly.
word goal for me, you and me, is we are anti-goal because goal isn't meant for us.
It's
Because
stupid.
for
A goal is
us,
a specific stupid goal.
it isn't likely to come true, and when it
Mhm.
comes true, we don't know if we're gonna like it.
Right.
Right. So for me, at least, like for me, is I don't like to use the word goal. I like to use a word like, your desire, your dream, whatever it is you desire
Right.
of yourself. Like, point yourself towards that and walk
Go that
towards
way.
it, or
Right.
run
Right.
towards it.
Take a step that way.
However it makes you feel good. Like,
Right.
do that. But hey, I gotta get this at this point. I have to get at this page. Blah blah. So to me, this is like writing a
Makes it miserable.
I mean, like writing a book. You have these metrics, but its metrics aren't really used in the valuations of how
Has
successful or how
nothing to do with it. The metrics have nothing to do with it.
it's just like arbitrary metrics.
It's dumb. It's more than arbitrary metrics. Like, I mean, I work in the corporate world. I've been in this my entire life. I've never seen, how much time they spend on forecasting, on pipeline reviews, on
I mean, they have a
budgets,
whole
on
department that does those
right.
things,
They have a whole
forecasting. And
everybody, like, budgets every year. They have the big budgets, and you're like, we got to stick to the budget in the middle of the year, and you're like, well, why? Like, if we need to spend money on something that matters, like, and we don't need to spend money on other things just because we had it budgeted, like, who gives a fuck? Like, how are you going to project out 12 months from now? Did you project out that the entire tech industry was going to take a shit, in the middle of the year and start to fire everybody, and then the economy would take a dump, and then coronavirus would happen? Did you budget that one? Did you forecast for all that stuff? Did you figure all that out in your great plan that you had planned out? Like, who gives a shit? Like, every single goddamn day, like, these QBRs.
I mean, I think
like,
to me, I think it would be good to have a goal if it works, but it doesn't. It doesn't work.
Yeah, right, right.
Because like even a slight little changes in the path, it veers completely off course so
right.
far so fast. So what's the point of devoting time to something that is moving?
It's always moving. It never changes. It never is static. Like, so, like, every day you would have to recalibrate all of your goals, and then it's
That's
like, what's
why
the
there's a
point
whole
of
department that does that. I say, it's last time it was like 100 million, now it's 110. It's always moving, so you keep updating numbers. So what's the point of forecasting if you keep updating them? Why just record it? Oh, today we need this much. Today we need that much.
You're supposed to fucking do. So, like, this is what I tell my team every single day. It's like, I don't even, I really try my hardest never to look at dashboards or numbers at all. I just talk to them, and I'm like, are you doing what you're supposed to do today? Are you doing what you love to do? Are you doing that every single day? Do you have that scheduled into your time? Are you trying to enjoy? This is foundational principles of Clubany, right? Like, because it's like, I don't give a shit what you accumulate at the end of the year. It'll either accumulate or it won't. And the outcomes that you produce are kind of irrelevant. Like, I am confident that you will produce something that somebody else values if you do stuff that you value every single day, and you do it every day. The consistency.
I guarantee you the way the world works, right? The way the world works is that whatever you produce will have value to someone. Because the thing is, you think about, let's just take us, for example, us and trees, right? Us and plants. When you produce carbon dioxide, it's valuable to them, right?
And we do it every day.
Right.
we do it every breath.
So we produce this waste, and they love it, and they produce their waste. I mean, we need it. And you think about, like, all the decomposers, right? Well, they need to have things for them to decompose, right? So it's about finding the right alignment, finding the right, I guess this is the meaningful work, the meaningful relationship we're talking about. It's everything, because whatever you produce has a need for someone. You don't say, hey, you go to Eskimo and say, I want to sell you ice. Well, I don't need ice. Go to the desert, right? People need ice over there. You see what I'm saying? Because the thing is, I produce ice. You give to Eskimo, say, well, I already have ice. I don't need any more. Well, that doesn't mean that your whatever you produce is useless. It is valuable to the guy in the desert, right?
Yep.
To figure out how to align and create these orchestrations of the right kind of meaningful relationship, meaningful work. That to us is the ultimate finding, is how do we create a way for us to match the right work that has produced the right value to the people who need them.
Right.
And that is going to be, I mean, think about it. You tell Eskimo, how much are going to pay you for the ice? Right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the desert, how much are you going to pay for the ice? Is it lower or higher?
A lot. I mean, yeah.
Right. It's going to be a lot. That's the thing is your work, whatever it is. I truly believe this, Chris. Whatever you do has a value and really high value if you find the right person who needs it.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, 100%. And then the key is to do it every day. Like you can't, and do it because you want to do it, not because you're trying to hit some specific stupid goal.
Like I
right?
say, like, if I need to breathe, right?
Right.
I'm going to take in oxygen and I'm going to produce carbon
like,
dioxide.
Can you imagine if you had a goal? Can you imagine if you had a goal of like, I need to take 200 breaths every single day and 2,000 breaths each month, and and then like I'm forecasting, in the next year, like I need to take this amount of breaths, or whatever every single day in order for me to like to get where I need to get to. You like that's just.
I mean,
like, you breathe when you need to breathe.
When we understand the foundations, the element of what we talk about, it sounds so silly, But when you don't understand like life and goal in itself, you don't understand that. We don't know if it's silly, and that's the thing is, it's not about the goal; it's about understanding yourself, right? Because we understand about how we breathe and how we write books, and all, because we understand all the little nuances that surrounds that piece of activity, right? In life, we don't know anything about that. We don't know even what we want, right? If you ask people, like you ask people, hey, what's your number one goal, right? What's your number one core value? They don't know. So let me think about what's a goal? What's a goal versus what's a value, right? They don't even know the definition, and that's the thing is, when you don't know anything, your job is to find out and understand what it is for yourself first.
For yourself.
Just like we understand how. Okay, let's say I talk to let's say you talk to my dog about writing a book. He doesn't understand how the process of writing a book works. Therefore, for him, say, okay, I do this. So he thinks he just like you. Like doing your forecasting of your life and your goals and all that, it's like you talking about writing a book process to a dog, because he knows nothing about it. But from you and me, when we talk about writing a book, there are things that we know how we need to have these things people read, blah blah. So all of these things that surround it, we understand it. And when you understand that, and we put in the same concept and same methodology we apply to the life, it sounds so silly. But this is what all the gurus are charging you $10,000 and $20,000, even $1 million for them to tell you, hey, you should have a title, you should have a beginning, you should have an end, you should have,
you gotta have a goal, you need to have a timeline, you
need to go to a publisher. It's like, that
production
isn't going to make you a book, a successful author. It just makes you write a book, but that book is worthless to. What is it that you're trying to say?
I mean, Dyson, James Dyson, right? Like the vacuum cleaner, Dyson vacuum cleaners. I think he made like 5,000 prototypes or something like that. It took him like 15 years before do you think every single day he was like, look, I need a timeline. If he went to his actual product team and he was like, I'm
gonna launch my company and it's gonna become successful in the next 6 months. If not, I'm gonna try something else. Exactly. That's what goal does for you.
Or if you went to an investor and they would have been like, okay, I'm going to give you $2 million and you're going to, you need to have a working prototype and out the door and, and everything launched and blah, 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 in the first year of your thing. Like James Dyson never would have got to where he got to. And the thing is like, it's fine to build operations around your once you have unlocked the value and you understand other people that once you've found that that not, I don't want to say product market fit because I think that's a stupid thing. How about life value, consumption?
No, you have to find something that you are so addicted to. It's like, hey, I need. That's like how you do it. It's like, hey, I'm playing. I'm planning on playing pickleball for an hour, and I said, well, I need another game, another game, another game. Right? You
Okay.
find something you enjoy to do, and whatever it is you do, you will do.
I fucking did that
Right?
to you last night. Like,
And
I swear to God, I forgot. I lost a total track of time. I have to ask people on the court, like, what time is it? And they're like, oh, it's like, it's.
But the thing is, when you do
8:49, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go make a text really fast, And then I'm like, wait a minute, I got one more game, and then the game gets there, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta go make a text really fast, like this. Like I just like it's awful.
But you get my point though. I mean, that is something it drives you. This is what I call the driving force in life. Pickleball is a driving force in your life, right?
No, it's not just. It's one of them, but yeah.
One of them. It's the little thing that drives. It makes you live in the moment, right? You say, well, I want to play.
Yes.
And when you find that, right? When you find that, continue to do that because that's going to make you feel good. You enjoying life, okay? So Agreed. All you have to do is do that, and the second step is you got to put it into a system where that whatever activity you do finds itself to find the right appropriate receiver of that activity as value. Right.
Yep.
And so the dream for Clubmoney is to build a system that allows you to match the activity that as a result of the activity, it produces a value that somebody see as a value and it consumes those.
Right. We could fund more people's values, like, and to do more of these things.
Yes, you do a compound spiral upward. It's a compound effect, and you can imagine having I build this watch, right? I make this soap, or I play pickleball, or whatever that you do has a value to somebody. We just have to figure it out. Well, who is it? Who is it that valued this thing?
We're gonna go pitch a nonprofit investor, and they're gonna go, well, show me your business plan. Show me this. Show me that. Like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, look,
there's no business plan.
There is no business plan. You know why? Because
it works.
I'm not gonna bring a scholarship person in here on a scholarship and say you got 1 year to produce something of value. That other people are gonna do. Like, no, that's not it. Like, it may take them 10 years. It may take them 50 years. It may take them their entire life or whatever, and somebody else, it may be 6 months later
you think about a lot of people, like, thing is, you think that your work, sometimes, let's say you have done something, right, and you have died before you've seen the value, but whatever you've done has been carried on by somebody else,
right?
They continue your work, so your work is not wasted. Right? As long as the reward that you have, like, for example, when you play pickleball or play tennis or whatever it is you do that you love, the reward is in the activity itself. As for you as a person, you are gotten. That's why you're willing to pay to participate in this activity, right? Because that's the reward in its own. And for the value that comes to become like, hey, I've made this, right? Whether it took your whole life or beyond your life, right? That's still, because it's not wasted, because somebody is going to continue that work, whether that's somebody or that's something that, hey, maybe it skips a few generations. Because like for example, you're talking about AI, right? Without all the guy who done the AI in the past, like in the 1900s or 1970, and after the code, the AI code, the AI winter, right, which is like from the 80s into like the 2005 or 2010, there's no activities in the AI work at all, and then suddenly it picks up. But because they have this foundation, that's how we get ChatGPT today. That's how we get all these AI stuff today. It's not wasted work. So even if it takes beyond your lifetime, it's still worth it. But because the activity you do is a reward in itself, that is already a meaningful and enjoyable life.
Yeah, I totally agree, and this is my final thought on this one, because you just made me think of a friend of mine, one of the people that we do that Why Are You Yelling podcast with. Mm-hmm. He texted me one of them texted me the other day, and he was like, Hey, have you seen this this thing on Netflix with Chris Hemsworth? You know, the Thor, right? Chris
Mhm.
Hemsworth. It's called Invincible, maybe. I think let me check to see. Just I haven't seen it, but oops, Chris Bosh. Limitless. It's called
Oh,
Limitless.
yeah. Okay.
With Chris Hemsworth, right? So he basically, like, I think the premise of the show, I haven't seen it, right? But it's like pushing the borders of like life, right, in general. So he has all these different episodes where it's you know, whatever. He has the point of is him stretching human. He wants to see the boundaries of human performance, right? And he wants to try to live as long as he possibly can, and he's trying to, you know, push that, right? So I just started this book today. It's called Outlive. It's about like the science of longevity and stuff.
Mhm.
And my friend sent me this text, and he's like, have you seen the show Limitless with Chris Hemsworth? And I was like, no. I was like, what's it about? And he goes, I don't know, but when I read it, like, it actually reminds me a lot of like it sounds like the sort of Chris Sears a lot in a lot of ways, you know. And and I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, he's like doing shit like cold showers and breathing stuff and weird random things and experimenting with tart cherry juice or whatever, you know, something. It's all, like it's always something dumb that it's like, you know, just trying to experiment with stuff. And I go, oh, that's interesting. I was like, I'm curious, why is he doing it? He goes, well, he wants to see if he can, you know, live as long as he possibly can. It's about stretching like his ability to, like, you know, live and exist for as long as he can. I go, well, then it's nothing like me. And he was like, what do you mean? And I go, I don't do any of that stuff because I'm for some fucking goal of like living longer. I just do it because I enjoy it. And I'm doing it for to spend time with my daughter and to live my values. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with me. Like, you know, I have no goal with these things. I mean, you know this more than anybody, right? Like, I mean, I don't just start doing, you know, random challenges, you know, just because I'm like, oh, well, you know, the goal is about, you know, living longer, true, and about, you know, blah blah blah. It's like, no, I don't fucking care. I'm just exploring. Like, that is my value, is exploring. I'm just exploring. It's just interesting. Like, you know, and now
It's enjoying life. I mean, life
it's
is supposed
enjoying
to
life,
enjoy.
right?
And so when you have the core values of explorations, you want to try it, right? It's
Right.
not because you want to do certain things, hey, live long or whatever. Because you can live long, but you don't enjoy life. What's the point of living longer?
There is no point.
I mean, let's say, hey,
yeah,
you want you want to have a long span of something.
right.
I can turn something into a negative. Hey, you, instead of having a 5 year prison sentence, I say, hey, you have a 25-year prison. So elongations of some
Cool.
time frame doesn't mean doesn't always mean a good thing, right?
That,
So say, hey, your life is a miserable prison, right? Elongation of your life isn't all that crap. It's actually negative, right? You
yeah,
want to get out early,
it can be
and so
awful. I mean, it can
and
be
so
horrible.
to me, and to us, right? It's about life is meant to be enjoyed. Are you doing that?
Mhm.
And what activity is going to give you that? It's not about like, hey, I'm gonna live longer or whatever. Like, if you live longer, like, let's say
Cool.
living
Right.
longer also existing on this world as a prison sentence because you are miserable. You hate everything. It's hot. It's cold. Whatever, or you have no freedom and you feel like you'll have panic attack and you are sentenced for like 100 years instead of 50 years. So
Right.
you're thinking in that particular perspective, it isn't a good thing.
No,
But if you
not at all.
enjoy life, right? Enjoy life, right? I mean, say, well, I may not live as long, but I have so much activities, so much more activities that I have done that I enjoy myself. And that is particular to me. I like the sunset. I like the beach, right? Because some people don't like the beach. So you can't say, hey, shove them on the beach and say this is count as a, you know, a
Right.
plus one for a plus one for the enjoyment score, whatever it is, right? Some people like the mountain. I don't like the mountain, right? I like
Right.
the beach, and you know, I don't blah blah blah, right? Some people like the city. Some people like the, you know, the nature stuff. I like nature. I like trees. I like greenery. I like, so that's what I like, right?
Right.
Versus, you know, somebody who like, I need something is completely minimalist, right?
Right.
And that's their thing, and they enjoy that particular life.
Mhm.
And so for us, it's about life is meant to be enjoyed. It's not to say, well, it is what it is. To me, that is a word that I tend to want to stay away from, goal is what I tend to stay away from, because to me that isn't going to align with what I want in life. Is how do I enjoy life? Because like you say, when you set up a goal, it actually becomes torture.
Yeah, it's your own prison, you know. I mean, like you put yourself in a fucking prison. If you said my goal is to live till I'm 120, like you said, and I'm gonna do everything I can to do it, but you're miserable every fucking day of your life while you're trying to live to your 120, like what's the point? Like, you know,
You
but
should
you're
have
like, I set a
you have a
goal.
long prison sentence.
Right. I mean, I mean, like, I can't give a better example than this journey itself, of the Yomal journey. Like, it was an amazing, fun experience. It always was. It was always a great time. But it got to a point in time around 300 to like 330, where I was dragging ass through it. I was like, oh my God, like I don't know that I can keep
you
going.
turn something enjoyable into something miserable
I
because
turned
you just
something
add a goal. That's
right.
the thing is, it's not like you hate doing this. You love doing this. It's just
I was
that
enjoying the shit out of
you
it. Yeah.
you enjoy the shit out for 300 episode, right? Well, for 300 reflection, you loved it. The moment you say, "Well, I have a goal and I'm almost at the end," it becomes a fucking chore.
It did. It's awful. It was like your own. It became a prison, and I was like, well, I can't really do anything. Like, I stopped reading books. I mean, I had books like, you know, Lincoln was a risk. I couldn't take the risk. Like, the Team of Rivals book, I couldn't take that risk when I was in the middle of 365. And you're like, what are you talking about? You can't take a risk on reading it. Well, I was like, that's 41 hours. Like, true. What if I read a 41-hour book? That would take me 2 weeks. Like, and maybe what if I only get one reflection out of it or something like that? Like, that's 2 whole weeks where I should have written 8 reflections or 9 or 10 reflections. Instead, I wrote 1. And you know, and I'm like, what? I don't want to take that risk, because like I got to get to 365, and I got to write every day. I got to get there. Like, we're getting through this. I'm gonna run up that hill. Like, you know, and it's like what the fuck am I talking about? Like, literally, as I'm saying these words out of my mouth right now, and I'm like, what am I talking about? The goal was to learn something every day. If you weren't learning something in the book that was a 41-hour long book, then stop it and stop listening to it, or stop reading it and go, all right, I'm gonna go pick another book up, whether it's a 2-hour book or whether it's a 41-hour book. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Like, did I learn?
You look
Was
at
it
the
fun?
book, the Beta Acoustic, right? It's a very small, short,
Very small.
just a list of like saying, but it gives you like a
Thanks.
lot
To
of
think.
things
Right.
to think about, right?
Yeah.
Versus a 41-hour audio book saying, okay, what am I supposed to do here?
You know what my reflection was? So I actually ended up writing 2 for that, only because I'll show you what it was. The second one is kind of just funny. What is this? This is part 1. It was facts versus stories,
Facts
right?
versus stories.
And I was like, this book was literally like reading a Wikipedia page entry. Like, it was not a story. It was just a bunch of facts, right? Like, and I was like, I can't. What I love, what it makes me think, are stories, right? You know, like the book that I just finished was This Is Your Mind on Plants by Michael Pollan. He talked about caffeine again, mescaline, which is a psychedelic, and opioids, and poppy seeds, right? Like, the thing is I say that's what the book was about, is 3 different drugs and 3 different things that he's explored in 3 different plants, and how it affects us and how it doesn't affect us, and, you know, whatever. But the reason why Michael Pollan is so captivating in the way that he writes is because it's a fucking story. It's a personal journey for him. He's writing about his life and something that's fascinating to him. I'm following along with his journey the entire time, and it's fascinating because it's not necessarily he's just popping fact after fact after fact into your brain, and, you know, talking about opioids and what mescaline is. No, he's telling you a story about how it impacts people, how it impacts your life. And then he's exploring it himself, and taking these drugs himself, and writing his own thoughts, and telling how that led into this and that led into that. And like, through the stories we learn, right? Like, and it's only usually when it's a personal story versus a third-party autobiography of 4 different people's lives, where you're just literally detailing the facts of Lincoln's existence and his cabinet members is like, I mean, I like, the only fucking person that I will ever let do that to me is a guy named Bill Bryson. And that's only because Bill Bryson can somehow take a Wikipedia page entry and make it entertaining as shit. The irony of all ironies of Bill Bryson books, and I've told you this before, I don't remember a fucking thing from anything that he ever writes, but I know that I loved the experience. He gives a great story and he makes it entertaining. It's entertaining. It is not, I don't learn a lot from Bill Bryson books. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't learn a lot from Bill Bryson books. It's entertaining as shit, and I love the entertainment value of it. This book, the Team of Rivals book, was boring. It was like reading a Wikipedia page entry, and there was no story. Like, there wasn't a personal story. There was no lessons in it. It was just somebody recapping what happened. And I was like, I don't learn that way. We don't learn that way. We learn from stories. We don't learn from just somebody rattling off, facts about shit, right? Like, I mean, that's not how you learn.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's a we can get to that in a 100 reflections here, but
well, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, right. So anyway, all right, let's put a pin on this one because we're over time. So question we can leave for everybody is what is your arbitrary stupid goal, or what is your thought on goals? Really, I mean, what, like, are goals important or are they not important? Like, did we change your mind on this one or not? Who knows? Yeah.
All right, well, we'll leave it with that, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
See ya.